Ronald Publico asks, with Into the Woods coming to theaters, what other stage musical would you like to see? Perhaps Wicked?
Oh, I love Wicked. I'm really excited for Into the Woods. I know a lot of people have seen the materials and they're like, I don't know what to think, but I grew up on this musical and it's just so clever, and they are singing. I know most of that you haven't seen, but the songs are so memorable and fascinating, and the cast is great, and our girl Anna Kendrick's in it. I mean, I'm really excited about that. They've done some of my favorites already. Chicago's one of my favorites. Singing in the Rain's one of my favorites. But yes, Wicked, if you haven't seen that, I mean, it's kind of like the untold from the villain perspective. They're doing that a lot now, and they've kind of taken it from Wicked. Yeah. But I think that would be a great film if they get the right actresses. Who comes to mind?
Mine is kind of along the same lines. Wicked is one that I would be excited to see, but I do think, you know, with TV shows like Once Upon a Time, you're seeing a lot of that already, you know, and I don't know if that would be something totally new. I am very excited for Into the Woods. I feel like we've been hearing about this for such a long time. Like, I remember when the casting was coming out, and people were like, oh, they actually have to sing. And for me, Chris Pine, I love him. And I'm super excited to see him in this role, because I think even from the trailers, you see that he's kind of this terrible prince. Like, he's not actually a good guy, and he kind of plays into that and knows that, and then getting to see all of these actors sing on top of it, I'm just really, really, really excited.
It's a book according to Mormon? Is that what it was?
Book of Mormon?
Book of Mormon. Book of Mormon. I think that's one. I've never seen it, but from what everyone...
You haven't seen it on Broadway?
No, I've never seen it, but from what everyone's raving about it, and I think that's probably going to happen. I think there's been talks about it anyway. So.
This is going to sound, I mean, you might not know this one, but when I was 12, I took a trip to London, England with my parents, and we went to see Miss Saigon, which is a modernized version of Madame Butterfly. Yeah. And it blew my mind as a child. And I remember just being in awe of this story, and it's a beautiful love story. I would love to see that as a movie. I think it would be a beautiful, beautiful movie. So.
Yeah. Two more quick ones, since we're kind of running late.
Kyle asks, is it a knock against a movie if it becomes less of an experience on a small screen? Avatar, Gravity, and now Interstellar.
That's a really great question. I feel like some films, like the ones you just mentioned, should be seen. Like Interstellar, I don't want to watch that on a small screen, because the way the filmmaker shot it and the way it's intended is on the largest screen possible, because especially the way it's shot, 70mm, same with Paul Thomas Anderson, the way he shoots on 35 with the cracks, and just it's just beautiful on a big screen. But a good film is going to stand the test of time on anything you watch it
I have
on.
to say, I was flipping channels, I was in bed, I was tired, I didn't feel like watching something I hadn't seen before. Gravity was on, and I was like, you know, I haven't actually seen this on the small screen. I saw it 3 times in theaters, and I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a good movie.
It's so good.
The story was good. It was about this woman's, you know, it's a deep story, because it's about a woman who has to make peace with her past and survive at the same time, and I thought it was well done. So, you know, there you go.
I do think that there are experiences, like, I agree with you that Gravity is a good movie, but I think it benefits you to see that movie.
Because it's an experience, not just watching a movie.
It is,
like,
absolutely. And the same thing with Avatar, is that those are they're absolute experiences.
Doesn't make them worse for being Avatar, maybe.
I think sometimes it does, though. I think that sometimes it enhances the experience in those 2 movies that that email absolutely suggests, and I agree. It does, and they're movies that are made for the experience of going to the theater, and sometimes it doesn't always. Yes, and sometimes it doesn't always transfer over, and I think does it say anything about the movie? Maybe sometimes it does. I don't know, but I think overall it's intended for the theater. Yeah. So.
I think it's, you know, where a movie that does well on the big screen and looks beautiful, like Grand Budapest Hotel. For me, that was seeing it on the big screen. It's so gorgeous, and you know, you feel like you need to see it in that. But then I watched it on my laptop, and I was like, this movie is still amazing. And so, do I think that it takes away? I don't know necessarily, but I do feel like if it can play both places well, then they've done a little bit better.
And maybe your first experience in the theater, and then when you watch it after, you're already got that.
I mean, like Avatar, it's like, you see it on the big screen. I think when you don't see it on the big screen, you're like, wow, this story is pretty weak.
Ferngully, The Last Rainforest.
Yeah, it is Ferngully. It is Ferngully.
All right, last question, Sinead.
I'm not gonna lie.
Alexander asks, hi AMC, love the show. If the Peanuts film is a success, can we see more comic strips turned into animated films?
Absolutely. The question is always if it's a success, if it's by monetary standards, not just critical. If it makes a lot of money, I think we'll see a lot more.
Its water bottle can be turned into a movie. I mean, anything can, especially if it's a success. So yeah, I agree with you.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, that's what,
that's what I want. Calvin and Hobbes.
As Chewie and Han.
That's awesome. Done, you said it all.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.